These are some Dinar Guru updates, starting off with Wolverine. Guys, we are very close now. Get ready to put on your seatbelts on as we will be going to warp speed anytime. Sampson article quote, "It is expected that dozens of laws will be passed during the next legislative term. The political differences are less compared to the previous parliamentary sessions, which enhances the hope of enacting laws, especially the budget for the next year, and even the introduction of the oil and gas law to end the file of selling the oil of the Kurdistan region of Iraq." Frank 26, Iraq Boots on the Ground TV report, Firefly, they keep showing Kazimi's speech, asking for the rate to return to 1200. Frank says, "Are you absolutely sure it's Kazimi?" Firefly says, "Well, we didn't see him, but they said it was from Kazimi." Frank says, "Only Mustafa from the CBI can make the types of announcements, so stop worrying. Besides, it's actually a positive thing. The CBI does not want a one-to-one with the American dollar, so it is possible that the 1200 will allow the dinar excuse me, to float at $1.20 and be unpegged from the American dollar." All right, Tivon article quote, "It is expected that dozens of laws will be passed during the next legislative term. I told you guys that Al-Kazimi was lining up the bowling pins, positioning himself for a blitz play. He is about to go all out. Why? Because the EFSL has citizens' entitlements, and that is based on the oil and gas law. This is probably the main reason why we have not seen a rate change. The oil and gas law file, once ended for good, can change the course of everything in a very short period. That's why I think Al-Kazimi was/is waiting for the opportune time to reduce the USD price so that the purchasing power can be established from the onset of the oil and gas law being completely under Iraq's control." All right, Mark Z via PDK, we're still getting confirmations of more folks, whales, and groups hitting the ground in redemption areas. One group is hopeful for the weekend, while the rest of them are looking at the very beginning of the week. I believe we are awfully close, but we all have to find a little patience here. Caparoni says, "Guru Tivan claims next week Iraq will raise the exchange rate after Parliament had signed a petition to do so. They can sign all the petitions they want. The CBI is in charge of monetary policy, and there will be no charge in the exchange rate in the near future." All right, Mountain Goat, from what I am seeing from the CBI, they will reinstate the dinar prior to the 2022 budget being voted on. The reinstatement will force the passing of the budget with a new rate change, and they've already based the new budget on the new rate. All right, Sandy Ingram says, "Some of you are upset at the time it is taking to realize a profit on your investment. Let me ask you a question. When was the last time you paid approximately 1,000 US dollars for 1 million Iraqi dinars, with the potential of it turning into 1 million US dollars or even 500,000 US dollars if the rate went to 50 cents or 1 IQD for 1 US dollar? This will not happen overnight." Bruce via Wiser Now says Iraq has been on new platform for trading, but they call it the Iraq Stock Exchange. They have been on a new version of that since last Sunday. That new version is completely integrated with the quantum financial system and is totally connected to the blockchain, to the Starlink satellite system. So Iraq is totally up to speed on all of that. They have been trading up the value of their dinar, and it is really moving up. So that is going to be really good for us. So we will see. Iraq has done their thing, and they're ready to go. All right, Mark Z via PDK. Question, is the dong rate still $2.20? Still hearing $2.25 to $2.30 is the projected rate on the dong. Mountain Goat article quote, "Iraq achieves a financial surplus of more than $15 billion in the first 5 months of 22. More bragging, still 1/6 of a penny for a dinar, what goes?" All right, Humble One says the GOI has to be seated and fully functioning for a major change to occur with the exchange rate. Because it will be a monumental task to accomplish, it will change everything in their country and how they operate. We here as investors look at the change as game over, but for Iraq, it is step one of a new everything. So all aspects of the government need to be fully in place. A caretaker government will not cut it. The current government does not have the powers to send bills. Right, Caparoni says what will happen to the dinar has already been clearly documented by the IMF back in 2013. Many didn't believe it, but this is how monetary policy works. There is no RV, and when the dinar ever goes up in value, it will be via a float based on the economic growth of Iraq's economy. Tivan, in response to Guru Humble One, says the budget requires the full power of the government, not the EFSL. Big difference. That's why in the same article they state that they either pass the budget, which they can't, or put full power behind the EFSL since it already is in the Gazette and doesn't require formation of the GOI because Al-Kazimi, his cabinet, is considered already seated. Why do you think he was able to pass the EFSL without a GOI? All right, Sampson article quote, the central bank, there is no future plan that includes changing the exchange rate. Quote, the deputy governor of the central bank, Amar Khalaf, said in a statement to the Iraq news agency, the INA, the exchange rate at the present time, in our belief as a monetary authority, there is no justification for changing it. The economic circumstance is the main ruler. All right, Militiaman response to Humble One says, did you miss the part where the Supreme Judicial Council spelled out caretaker government verbiage in contextual and not implicit? Also, that the Prime Minister can be given necessary powers in time of war and in emergency circumstances. Emergency food security law was put into law during this past week. It shows that he has the powers needed to facilitate the necessary items that will support the citizens. There is not support I have seen that the seated government is not able to do what is needed. The finance minister has the legal authority to allow the CBI to change the exchange rate when they're ready. From the sounds of the articles today, they very well may be ready as ever now. All right, and lastly, Mountain Goat says, if you are reading all the news articles from Iraq these days about the election, it will drive you crazy. There are obviously many who support bringing back all the corruption and nonsense of the Nouri al-Maliki days. Unbelievable. Trust me on this one. Maliki will never see the prime minister again.